Hey guys, this is Video Game Lover 58, and I'm here to discuss a game for the Nintendo Wii that I recently finished a week ago. And that game is Fragile Dreams: Farewell Ruins of the Moon. This really isn't going to be a review, although it kind of is going to be because I'm going to be talking about the gameplay, graphics, and story. So, the reason I want to talk about it is because this might be the first time in a while that I finished a game to where I don't know what to think of it. Did I like this game? Did I hated this game? After I finished it and put in 10 hours of this game, I really don't know what to think of it. It's been a week, and I still really don't know, but I'm going to tell you at the end. So, it's a very unique game, so I'll give it that. But before I can discuss how I feel about this game, I want to talk about my history and interest of this game. So this came out in January of 2009 in Japan. Many Wii owners were interested in this game in the United States. Thanks to Xseed, this game saw a US release on March 16, 2010. I actually remember when this game came out on that day because my brother picked it up and he was very excited. He remember being excited for the opening theme, and trust me, I was. I still remember that opening theme. But after that, saw him play it, and that was really it. Wasn't interested in it again. He finished the game, and he thought it was an okay game for the most part. He told me to play it, but I was like, nah. This was at a time that I was still into my 16-bit consoles, and just didn't want to branch out to other systems, except for like the N64 and PS1. So, I actually forgot about this game until 2014, when Classic Contagious Gaming did a video on it. This was at a time that he was doing like a series of videos for the Nintendo Wii, and one of them was Fragile. And I was like, oh wow, I remember that game. And I used to have been interested in seeing the opening and some of the characters, and I was interested. But again, didn't play it. It wasn't until, for some strange reason, in late 2021 that I was interested in it. I was looking at interviews. I was looking at the wiki of this game. I was even reading the manga that came out in Japan, like in late 2008 to like early 2009. I was obsessed with this game. So you know what? I said, screw it. I hit up my brother, asked him can I borrow the game, and so I finally played it and beat it. And here we are today. So what is this game in particular? Well, it's an action RPG with some survival horror elements. Using horror in it loosely because it's not really a horror game. It's more of like a mystery game, eerie-ish, lonely game, but you know what? It's like Parasite Eve, except Parasite Eve did it way better. So the story takes place in a post-apocalyptic version of Earth in Japan, where most people are dead and ghosts are inhabiting the area. You are a 15-year-old boy named Seto, whose grandfather passed away, and he finds a letter of his dead grandfather and tells him to go to the Red Tower. He sees a silver-haired girl, but the girl runs away. So not only you're trying to get to the tower, but finding the girl and other survivors in the process. The story for the most part is solid. Yes, Seto could be annoying at times because he complains about being lonely, but let's be real here though, how would you be in that position? Where you're in a post-apocalyptic version of Japan, nobody with you, ghosts around you. I think you've been a little bit depressed. You also have, so the other characters are Sai, a ghost girl that becomes your main companion throughout the rest of the game. Crow, a mischief boy that you encounter in the amusement park and likes to play hide and seek, and oh my god, that part was annoying. The merchant, who wears a chicken mascot head, who is pretty much the merchant of Resident Evil 4. And the personal frame, who is this tiny robot that became your companion at the start of the game, but then sadly dies after like the first hour of the game. Yeah, I know, spoilers, but not really, because it was the first hour of the game. So, while there are some plot holes in the story, I think it was handled very well. Not to mention that you can look hard early in the game and you can find out what happens early on. If not, it explains at the end of the game. But there are some plot elements that don't go anywhere, and there are also some plot elements that even the interviewers and even the creators had no idea what the heck happened. It just happened out of thin air. As far as the development of the characters, they're not really handled well. I think they had some great ideas with certain characters, but it just went nowhere, honestly. So the story for the most part is good, but there are some issues with it. The graphics are very good for the Nintendo Wii. Now we all know that the Wii was a very weak system, but the graphics here are really good. Especially in the nighttime, it looks great. However, though, on the daytime, doesn't really look too good, unfortunately. Now, the music. While there's not much of it, when there is, it's fantastic. It fits perfectly for the world that you're in. Every song just fits perfect in it. I love the battle theme when you fight the enemies. It's really nice. But the only problem is it does get repetitive because you keep hearing it again and again and again. The sound is fantastic. The sound is really good. The sound effects when you're hitting enemies or when you're walking, there's a lot of different sound effects throughout this game. And they are really, really good. So with all the praises I've been giving this game, you may think, oh wow, this must be a really, really good game, right? Well, boy, because I haven't gotten into that gameplay. And while you can have a very looking game, pretty looking game, a great soundtrack, and a good story, if your gameplay is trash, then the game falls apart. And sadly for Fragile's case, this is where it fumbles badly. So when you fight enemies, you have to use weapons, of course, but like a stick or a bamboo sword. And it's not good. First of all, it's very basic. All you do is hit the A button 3 times, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. It's like playing Chaos Legion for the PS2 without the legions. It becomes such a cookie cutter hack and slash game, and there's no strategy because this game is very, very easy. The enemies don't really put much of a fight, so you could just plow through the game very easily. Yes, you can level up in this game, but you don't really have to fight every enemy. You just fight a few enemies, get the items that they drop, and that's it. Move on with your day. The controls are really stiff, and the reason for this is when you're pointing the Wiimote, because that's how you see things with your flashlight, you're also controlling Seto's movement. And because of this, there are going to be a lot of times where you're going to completely miss your attacks. Your attacks will not land the enemy, and the enemies will end up attacking you. It can be pretty frustrating just a few times. And it doesn't help that there's no, hit invisibility, where if you get hit, you're invincible. But in this game, you're not. If you could get hit multiple times, you end up dying instantly. Then we have the weapon breakage. When you use your weapon too much, it breaks and you have to throw it away. You can still kind of use it, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. And this happens randomly. And if you're out of weapons, then you have to go back to your save point, which thankfully there's a lot of them in this game, and hopefully you have to meet the merchant. And keep in mind, when you're meeting the merchant, it's extremely random. He could show up all the time, and sometimes he won't show up. I recommend buying many of weapons, and a lot of the same weapons to prevent frustration. You can find mystery items throughout the game, and there are treasures, and they could give you a lot of money. Which now leads us to the inventory, and oh my god, is it bad. So you don't have a lot of room to carry your weapons, but you have a briefcase. So you're thinking, oh, I could just put items easily in the briefcase, and there you go. Well, you have to go to the campfire to get your weapons out. That is so dumb, and I don't even understand why they did this. If you have a mystery item, you have to go back to the campfire every freaking time. That would be like in Resident Evil 4, you have to talk to the merchant so you could change your weapon. You can't just change your weapon in the inventory system. No, you have to talk to the merchant, then you change your weapon. It just doesn't even make any sense. Why on earth did they did this? I mean, you saw how Resident Evil 4 did the inventory system. Why in the heck do you decide to make that inventory system 10 times worse? It just doesn't make any sense. Then we get to the worst part. Backtracking. There is a lot of it in this game. And what's worse is when you return to a lot of these levels, many of them are just endless hallways. They, no joke, can last up to 5 minutes. There is one part where you're climbing down a ladder for 5 minutes. I'm not kidding. I was playing the theme song for Metal Gear Solid 3 when I was climbing down that freaking ladder. It was ridiculous. You know, a lot of Sony games get a lot of crap because people like to call them walking simulations and things like that. But they clearly have not played this game because there are literally walking sim levels in this game. Like, did they really thought this was a fun way to play the game? But it doesn't get worse like the hotel level. You have to backtrack 3 times because there's this girl who's a ghost and prevents, the way to get to your next level. So you have to give her one item that's in the subway. Then you have to go back to the amusement park to get another item. And then you have to go to the second floor, fight a boss to get the final item. So, boss battles are very easy. Levels can be way too long. The final level reminds me of the Eiffel Tower stage from Onimusha 3. Now, even though I've been saying these levels along, the game isn't really all that long. It's about 10 to 12 hours. I was able to beat this game in 10 and a half hours. And after this, I was like, this is probably a one and done. So, after I finished this game, after I said that it was a one and done, I still wanted to know, did I like this game or not? And I will say this, it's a unique game story-wise. I mean, to say that it's not unique and different is an understatement. It's a very different game for the Nintendo Wii. It's weird characters, it's weird enemies. This is a game that I won't forget. I would say, at best, it's okay. At worst, it's a bad game. The graphics are great, the sound is amazing, and the story is good. But the gameplay is not that good, and that is the most important aspect of a video game. I know I'm stepping on a minefield for bringing this game up, but say what you will about Last of Us 2 and its polarizing story. There is one aspect that cannot be denied about this game. About that game, its gameplay was excellent. It was the one aspect that it was unanimously praised for, and many people thought that the gameplay of Last of Us 2 was leaps and bounds better than the first Last of Us game. And I'm gonna be honest, isn't that the most important aspect of the game? Yes. And so sadly, Fragile's gameplay really crippled what could have been one of the best games on the Wii. And it's sad because there was definitely effort into this. I mean, the developers of this game went on to do Tales of Arise. It was made by Tricrusando and Namco. So it's really incredible to think that they botched the gameplay so well, but then their games got much better after this one. It's a shame. If you have to play this game, I recommend playing it on Dolphin. Do not spend $150 to buy this game. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Trust me, it's not worth it. But if you want to play it, play on the emulator. Believe it or not, there are some fans of this game that actually want to remake this game. I have even encountered this one comment in a Fragile Dreams Hidden Gem video where he said that he was thinking about redeveloping the whole game to make it better. That would be awesome. So, I think it's just okay. But am I ever going to play this game again? Probably not. I enjoy the characters. I wish they were in another game. But it probably ain't never happening. And I don't think this game's ever seen a re-release because this game bombed badly in the US. Such a shame. Its gameplay crippled it to no end. Well, that's it for this video, everyone. This is Video Game Lord 58. I'll see you next time. Take it easy.